All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. It's Thursday, and it's time to go to Old Town Mariposa with my buddy Bob Borchard from Bet's Gold Coin. Bob, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely awesome.
Good to see you.
And yourself, how's the baby?
Well, the baby's not here yet as of this taping, but by next week, we might have a different answer for you.
All right.
So who'd you bring with you today, Bobby?
Chuck, I have to take care of first things first, okay? I brought something. I told you that, you like music and you like to pretend like you're really tuned in, but, those ties are old man ties. This is a real live Jerry. I would like you to slip that.
Real live Jerry Garcia.
It's
a real live Jerry Garcia tie.
It's in your size. Just slip it over.
Okay, so a real live Jerry Garcia tie means that if Jerry Garcia was here right now, this thing would be moving.
Correct.
Right.
Right. Yeah, don't I?
There you go. Right like that. Okay. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
Right there.
Now,
okay. Now we can do the interview.
Now we
Okay.
can do the interview. This is real.
Who did you bring with you today, Bob?
Susan. I brought Susan Bramson with me.
Susan, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the
Nice
Buzz.
to meet you.
Susan is has got a great story in and of her own right, but we're going to be talking about. Do you feel like somebody's watching you? Do you have?
Well, I have noticed there's someone over my shoulder, Bob.
Okay, I just got this funny feeling that somebody's watching us. Every now and then, in my life, I have people looking over my shoulder a lot. But right now, I have this really strong feeling that somebody's watching me. But I'll get on with it. We're going to talk about the Coyote Howl and Coulterville. We're going to talk, the whole show is going to be about Coulterville. Coulterville is on the north side of Mariposa County.
Coulterville's always been so intriguing to me, and I don't know if it's about the drive that you keep telling me about from Mariposa to Coulterville, or the drive that you tell me about through Merced to get to Coulterville, but it's like it's this magical place that I have to visit. I'm so glad you're here. Please tell me all about it.
Well, Coulterville is a very, very unique town. It's one of those towns that still looks like the Old West. When my niece was here from Israel, she had her daughter with her, they stood in the middle of the street. She turned around to me and she said, "You know what? This looks just like the Old West we see in the movies." And it hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the vintage of cars on the street that are parked. But
Wait a
that's
minute.
about it.
Are we talking dirt roads? Are we talking wooden sidewalks? Is this what? How much is it still stuck in the old mother lode?
A lot.
Is it?
A lot. There are the old trees that were planted by the Jefferey, which are huge, that the old fellows used to line their chairs up right in front of the Jefferey Hotel, and they'd sit there and they'd all visit all day. And one of the funny things that happened, Alan Haigh, who happens to be the old guy that I live with right now. We're old enough now that it's like.
Alan's
whatever.
really not that old.
So this
No.
is your boyfriend?
Well, that's what people try to call him, as a boyfriend. I have a little hard time calling him a boy, but except when he acts like
got
that.
it.
Well, wait a minute. You have a hard time calling him a boy. What I understand is people walk around town calling him son.
That's correct, because his father's name was Alan, and when he was young, everybody called him son, so they could keep the two of them apart.
How old is he now?
83 going on 84.
83 years old, and they're calling him son.
They
How
still
fun
do
is
that.
that?
Well, he and cousin Clayton, one day, they built what do you call them? The little racers that you just go downhill
With
with.
the soapbox derby?
The soapbox derby. They built one, and they started up at the top of Main Street, way up at the top where it comes from the school, and they were on that, and they started down the hill, and of course they picked up a lot of speed. And as they came down the hill, all the old guys who were sitting there on the side picked up their chairs and got out of the way because they knew they were going to get run down. That's just one of the stories.
What? We're going to get to the Coyote Howl in a minute, but I got to share something with you. You know about clampers, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, every now and then the clampers go to Coulterville and have a doings.
Have a what?
A doings.
A doings.
That's
What
kind of
is
a-
that in
that's kind
clamper
of-
speak?
That's kind of a party.
Uh-huh.
We celebrate new members and And it's a gathering.
Yep,
It's something,
yep.
you know, rendezvous was what mountain people used to do, and this is kind of a clamper rendezvous.
Right.
But anyway, the rendezvous we have in Coulterville is typically at the Haigh Ranch. The Haigh Ranch goes back in history, back to the founding of Coulterville. Maxwell Creek, the gold finds.
And
Mary
what
Harrison
years
mine.
are we talking the founding of Coulterville?
Around 1850, 49, along there when they started the gold rush, they were
Yeah.
coming to
Was that
Coulterville.
what was Coulterville started by the gold rush, or was there
Yes.
another
Yes.
industry that it thrived
No,
on?
No.
They
It was
found
the
gold
gold.
on Maxwell Creek. But let me tell you about the Haigh Ranch. Alan Haigh, I met him once. He is a legend up in our part of the country, amongst Coulterville, and he kind of is the clamper on the north side and probably the south side of the river as well. We break Mariposa into north side and south side. It's based on the Merced River, but I won't get into that. Geography is not my thing today. The Haigh Ranch goes back into the 1850s, and there's a family legend about Joaquin Murrieta. You want to?
Well, yes, there is. It seems that when George Bell and his lovely wife, Mary Ann, moved out to the ranch, they built a little store there. She was quite a baker and made homemade bread, and they had all the other, the beans and stuff you needed to buy in order to live out there. And one night, there was a knock at the back door. And it was really kind of weird because it was late and dark. So I guess old great-grandpa went to the door, and there was this guy at the door saying, you need to open up, we need supplies. And he thought, okay. And so they came in and they loaded up bags of supplies, and they left and they were gone in the dark. And then I guess it was maybe 2-3 weeks later, there's a knock at the door again, and the same guys are showing up and saying, we need supplies. They paid with gold, by the way. They didn't just take and run. And one of the times when they left, they said, okay, you need to know you will never be bothered by Murrieta and his gang. We will see that you're protected. Because at that time, they were robbing folks coming on the old highway from north where...
They're taking their gold.
Well, they were taking the gold from the those traveling down to sell it and do that. So anyway, they were never bothered. They never lost anything. They never lost any cattle or anything else. They were well protected. And this story was told to Alan by his great aunt Doll, who lived to be at least 100. So it's a true story,
Now,
so to speak.
the Joaquin Murrieta, he was in the Coulterville area.
Yes, he
Coulterville,
was.
Hornitos.
Right.
We don't think he made it up to Mariposa. There's a possibility, but he was.
He was mostly the other way.
He was mostly in the
Yeah.
in the Hornitos, Coulterville area and up into Sonora.
Okay. Well, you're here to talk about the Coyote Howl.
Correct.
Now, we're going to talk a lot about that
what
in the
it is.
next segment. But before we do, tell the people a little bit about it.
Well, the Coyote Howl started 29 years ago, and what I understand is that this north side, south side of the river thing, that somebody on the south side said that all the folks up in Coulterville were just a bunch of coyotes. And they thought, well, we'll show you. So that they did was they started the first Coyote Howl. And this meant that you came together, you probably brought food, they shared everything. He's right back here.
I
He
could
came
see
with
that.
me. Anyway, what they did is they said, well, let's make the most of this. So they started having Coyote Howl contests. And people would get up there and howl like a coyote, and there was a prize. And sometimes it was gold, and sometimes it was money, and whatever. But it was very fun. It was a great time to get together and show your best Coyote Howl.
All right. Well, the Coyote Howl is coming up soon.
It is this coming Saturday, the 27th. It starts at 10 o'clock with a parade.
Well, I'll tell you what. There you go. There's your teaser right there. We're going to talk about the Coyote Howl in the next segment and some other things that Bob wants to talk about in the Mariposa area. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.